everybody, Cinema Sickness here with your daily sickness video, and happy Saturday to each and every one of you. Hope you guys are having a great weekend thus far, and let's get right down into today's daily sickness video. And like I said in yesterday's video, what I was going to have for you is most likely some reviews, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a look at all the titles that I've recently been checking out over the last week. So like I said, let's just dive right into it. And unfortunately, we start off with a bit of a stinker, and that is Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. What can I say about this movie? Unfortunately, not very much. If you've seen the first one, you know what you're getting yourself into, although with that being said, the first one was actually a better movie out of the two. Just goes to show you how kind of crappy this movie's going to be. The first movie was not very good. I mean, I'm not saying the Paul Blart Mall Cop or Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 is the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. No, by far not the worst. I at least got through these and at the end didn't go like, oh my god, I wasted, an hour and a half of my life. Not necessarily. I have seen movies where I've watched them and gone like, wow, I want that time back. I didn't necessarily feel that when I watched these. So are these the worst movies I've ever seen? Certainly not. But are these the best movies I've ever seen? Far from it. They're very bland, very mediocre. Look at this. Rating. PG. Do I need to say, it's not even PG-13. Do I need to say more? Not a very good movie. You saw the first one, you liked it, well, hey, check out the second one. You might enjoy it as well. But if you saw the first one, you thought, well, that wasn't all that good, well, don't expect much out of this one either, because it's even worse. So, again, not the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. I wouldn't use the word hate to describe this movie, but I wouldn't say like either. It was just very mediocre, exactly 100% what I expected going into this. I was just expecting another bland Kevin James movie, and that's exactly what I got, as Kevin James movies usually are. He might have a funny line here or there, he might have a funny moment here or there, but for the most part, I don't really enjoy Kevin James all that much. I liked him in King of Queens. That was a good show, but his movies, just not so much. So, yeah. Basically, if you saw the first one, you liked it, sure, check out the second one. If you didn't, then why would you watch the second one? All right. I don't really have much to say about that movie. We're moving on. All right, next I checked out a movie that a lot of you guys said was completely messed up. And yeah, you're right. We have Deadgirl. Definitely a weird movie. But I kind of liked it because of the weird just sort of like twist on things. These boys sneak into, they skip school and sneak into this abandoned like mental facility. They go down into the basement and they find this girl tied up. Turns out this chick is, and I'm going to spoil some like the plot of the movie for you. Sorry. Turns out this girl is a zombie. So they find this girl who's tied down there, who I'm assuming has been tied down there since the mental facility shut down. So she's been tied down there. I guess probably got sent there because they thought she was crazy. Turns out she's actually a zombie. Well, the one friend gets this bright idea because the chick's, I mean, for a zombie, she's kind of hot, gets this idea to turn her into his sex slave. The guy's a complete psychopath. Of course, the other friend's like, that's pretty messed up, but the other friend kind of threatens him and realizes that, it says some stuff to be like, well, you're going to get in trouble too if we say anything. Just let me do my thing. Just whatever. You don't want to bang her, you don't have to, but let me do my thing. And he gets like really carried away with it. And it just goes horribly downhill. And some more people find out about this and just things go really, really bad. Although the revenge they get on the jocks is absolutely hilarious. I love that. If you're like me and you grew up as one of like the punk rock kids in your school, who had the colored hair and stuff like that, you know what it was like dealing with jocks. Well, it's fun to watch them get the revenge on them in this movie. I loved it. So very cool, but twisted movie. Watching this guy take advantage of this zombie chick who's completely naked, just tied up down this basement, turning her into his sex slave. It's twisted, it's messed up, but enjoyable because I've never really seen a movie where they did something like that. It's different. It was unique. I was like, well, this is definitely something I've never seen before, and that's always appreciated. So, weird movie, definitely a weird take on a zombie film, if you want to call it that. So, when I say check it out, if you want to see just a really weird, twisted movie, yes, see it, but it's not going to be for everybody, but definitely a weird one. And if what I just said sounds interesting to you, then see it. Interesting ending too. I won't spoil the ending for you. I won't at least give that much away, but pretty fun the way things work out in the end. So, Deadgirl, I'd say see it. Interesting movie. All right, then we have Carol Channing, Larger Than Life. Great documentary all about the lovely Carol Channing. I don't know too much to say about it. Very well done documentary. Covers her entire life from when she first started out and born and raised and first started out in show business all the way up until, when was this put out? 2000, I think, guess like 2010, probably. This came out in 2011, so I'd say probably 2010-ish, goes all the way up to then, and just covers her life, and learned plenty about her that I had no idea. But I really didn't know too much about the lady. I knew her from some movies I've seen her in, and being on like the Muppet Show, and basically, as a kid, I remember seeing her every now and then pop up here and there. I really just knew who she was. I didn't really know too much about her, and certainly learned a lot. She led a very interesting life, and if you want to learn a lot about Carol Channing, it's definitely worth checking out. Very well done documentary. Definitely enjoyed it. Love this story about her and her current husband. Very cute story. I won't give it away. See the documentary. Find out the really cool story about how she ended up with her current husband, and how pretty cool it was how they got together and whatnot. Very awesome. So I would definitely recommend it. Great documentary. If you're interested in all about Carol Channing, this is one to check out. Awesome documentary. All right, then we have an interesting one here. We have Norma Jean and Marilyn, which, good movie. I really enjoyed this one. I question, though, it's one of those movies you take with a grain of salt. How much of this is true and how much of this is Hollywood? I don't know. I don't know, the life story of Marilyn Monroe or anything like that. So I'd be willing to bet plenty of this is Hollywood. A lot of the stories in here seemed very exaggerated and whatnot. Now, again, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. From what I have gathered from things I've learned about Marilyn Monroe over the years is that she definitely was pretty messed up in the head. And they do point that out a lot in here. They make her definitely... They show she has some issues. Some big-time issues. And I can see that probably being the case. Because, again, from what I've learned over the years, she definitely had some issues that she needed to work out. And unfortunately... used drugs to work them out and died. So interesting. All starts out with Norma Jean, played by Ashley Judd, which is very cool. All starts out with Norma Jean, and then when she transforms into Marilyn, played by Mira Sorvino, I can talk today. It's interesting how they change actresses, but Ashley Judd's still there, kind of talking into Norma Jean still there talking into like Marilyn's ear, basically. Kind of like has her sort of like voice of reason, kind of, but at the same time putting her down a lot as well. So very interesting the way they did that, and very cool the way they separated both people, Norma Jean and Marilyn, as two completely separate people. Like that, thought it was very well done, very interesting, and interesting to just watch a movie all about the life of Norma Jean / Marilyn Monroe. But again, I took it with a grain of salt. I don't know how much of this was true, how much of this was Hollywood. I have a feeling there was a lot of stuff that was embellished, a lot of stuff that maybe was made up. I don't know, but interesting nevertheless, and a fun movie. Definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of Marilyn Monroe. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. In fact, if you guys know a lot about the life of Marilyn Monroe and you've seen this movie, leave a comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts on this, and let me know if you know how truthful this movie was in comparison to her actual real life. I would love to hear about that, so let me know. But decent movie nevertheless, worth checking out. This was great. Watched Wish I Was Here. Great movie. Really enjoyed this one as well. Great Zach Braff movie. Definitely enjoyable. If you like the kind of, independent sort of films, if you liked Garden State, things like that, definitely worth checking out. I love the family aspect of it, just how he's kind of like this really just laid back family. I think it's very cool. And watching them kind of go through a bit of a rough patch, but of course in the end everything sort of works out and they're all happy in the end. But the way they have to get there and everything works and how everything's just kind of falling apart in Zach Braff's life. It's like things aren't just kind of working out the way he necessarily wants them to. But in the end, kind of learns to deal with them and comes to terms with things with his brother and his wife and his kids and his father and all that stuff. And the way everything sort of, in the end, works out for the best. It's one of those movies, where things kind of sort of go bad and they're looking a bit down, but he tries to, look on the bright side of things. And in the end, just things work out the way they're supposed to. But very fun, very well done indie film. I definitely enjoyed the hell of this. Again, if you like things like Garden State, worth checking out. I know a lot of people are saying they like Garden State a little better. I would say the same thing. Garden State, maybe I liked it better, but regardless, it's still a very well done movie. And if you like things like Garden State, just like Zach Braff, if you like independent films, this is one to check out. Very well done. All right. Then I watched the Divergent series, Insurgent. This was a very decent movie. I actually like this one better than Divergent. I saw Divergent and went, it was okay, interesting start to the story. But I must say, I've become more interested and actually enjoyed Insurgent more than Divergent. I think now the story's kind of picked up a bit. I mean, the first, Divergent was kind of like the introduction to the story. Things just started happening, and this one, the ball is now rolling. We're going somewhere with the story, and I actually did enjoy this one a bit more. The wife even said the same thing. She actually said she liked this one more than the first one, and I would definitely have to agree. Definitely an interesting movie, enjoyable. I mean, I'm enjoying the Divergent series thus far. The Hunger Games, Twilight, movies like that. I just kind of the movies based on book series that are kind of a little bit more geared towards women, I think. I've never been like a huge fan of. I mean, I like the Twilight movies; they were okay. The Hunger Games movies, they were okay, and the Divergent movies, they're also okay. I'm not like, I don't feel about these movies like I do Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, something like that. Those movies are brilliant. These are just decent. So I do enjoy the movie. It is worth checking out. Like I said, if you've seen the first one, maybe you thought, I don't really know. It's just okay. See the second one. It was more enjoyable. Like I said, at this point, the ball's rolling. Things are really starting to go on at this point, and I definitely enjoyed it more. Although I gotta say, I love when what is her name? Trish. In this movie, I love the scene. It's freaking hilarious. I don't know how they even thought they'd get away with this. I don't know if they were trying to make a joke out of it. I love this scene where she has long hair. She has long hair in the first movie. In this movie, she starts out with long hair, and then she cuts it by herself, not professionally done. She's like just snipping away with some scissors in a mirror. The next time you see her, her hair is perfectly like layered. I mean, the back of her hair perfectly layered, and it's frosted. I mean, if you guys can see it. I mean, that's what her hair looks like right there. Perfectly cut. Her frosted tips of her hair. I mean, when did she get the time to do that? And at one point, was she a professional like hairdresser where she could cut her own hair perfectly? It is hilarious. I was cracking up laughing when she came walking out of the room and her hair was just perfectly done and frosted. I was like, huh? Like, how did that happen? It was great. And again, I don't know how they thought they were going to get away with that, since it was just absolutely ridiculous. But I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking, but still enjoyable. So again, if you saw Divergent, if you like Divergent, definitely see Insurgent. It was, again, my opinion, a step up from the first movie. But again, if you saw the first movie and you just thought it was okay, but you're still kind of interested, see Insurgent. Again, in my opinion, it was a little bit better. Definitely interesting. And I do look forward to seeing the next movie now. So, decent movie. Check it out. All right. Then I watched Knoebels, a fantastic documentary done by a little local, local to the Knoebels area TV station. This was a great documentary on the park. Very well done. Only an hour long, though. Thought it could be a bit longer. As I usually do with documentaries, I usually pretty much always think, yeah, they could expand these out. We could go into more depth on stuff. But they do a great job talking all about how, the Knoebels family, they were immigrants, came over, and how they settled in the Pennsylvania area, and then everything from like from the making it like a little watering area. They had like a little kind of like they dammed up the creek, made a little pond, like swimming hole area. And then it went from that where they built up some cabins, and then, it came this whole big thing where it was a campgrounds, and they had, then they started putting some rides in, and how it built out from just basically like just some family living on this property to what it is today, this huge, awesome amusement park, which is, I love going to Knoebels. It's fantastic. It's a great amusement park, great story. I did think they could like address some things, especially when they were talking about the roller coasters. They mentioned all the roller coasters the park has, all the the wooden ones and the two wooden ones they have. They mentioned like the kiddie roller coaster. They mentioned flying turns, and they even mentioned the new coaster, the new steel coaster they just recently built. What they don't mention is back in the day, they actually had another, it was a very small steel coaster. In fact, the first year I ever went to the Knoebels was the last year it was there. I rode it, and then next year I went and it was gone, which is good because it wasn't a very good roller coaster. It was pretty bad, but they don't mention it at all. They never mention that coaster. I'm like, you're talking about all your coasters. I mean, there's a whole scene or a whole part of this movie where they're talking about all the coasters, and they completely forget to mention one that the park did have. Yes, it might not have been a very good coaster. I could totally see why they got rid of it, but it still was a coaster nevertheless, and you really should have mentioned it, in my opinion. I don't understand why they did it. They also, I don't think, I'm trying to think, did they mention it at all? The more I'm thinking about it, I don't think they mentioned the Black Diamond. I want to say they didn't mention that ride at all, which I kind of find interesting. Wow, I'm like really trying to think now if they even mentioned that. I want to say they don't. The Black Diamond is it's a dark ride. It's almost kind of like a roller coaster. I mean, you're actually technically on track. But it's a dark ride. And they actually moved it from like an old pier in New Jersey from an old it was an old ride on one of the New Jersey like amusement park piers. They actually transported the whole ride to Knoebels. Why do I think they didn't mention that at all in this documentary? Like, I didn't think about it at the time, but now that I'm going through the documentary in my head, I don't remember them saying anything about it. And if they did, they skimmed over it, but I don't think they even mentioned it. Why would they leave that out? That's a great ride. It's a newer ride too. So, yes, good documentary, but definitely could have gone in more depth. They could have talked about more rides, but it does tell you the history. If you're just looking to hear the history of Knoebels, then you're going to get that. You're going to get the history. Me, I'm a sucker for like everything. I want to know all about the history, but I want to know all about the rides and as well and all the different things. I want to know everything there is to know. So I'm a nerd like that, but it was still a decent documentary. If you ever hit up Knoebels and you come across this there, pick it up. I think this is like the only place you can get it is at Knoebels, but it is worth grabbing. It is a fun documentary. I enjoyed it. I'll be watching it again. All right, then one you guys told me I had to check out because I just recently picked this up, and that is Stakeland. This was a decent movie. A lot of you guys said you really liked this one. I agree. Interesting vampire movie, but how did I not know this movie existed? And the reason why, this entire movie shot right around where I live. A lot of this movie, and the director of this movie was shot, well, a lot of this movie was shot in the director's hometown of Pottstown, Pennsylvania, which I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about quite a bit. Cash Converters is located in there where I hunt at constantly. Ollie's Bargain Outlet, Cash Converters. When I go, or Ollie's Bargain Outlet, Pottstown. Usually when I do my my Black Friday shopping videos, that's all taking place, 75% in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Pottstown Cash Traders, obviously in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. I do a lot of hunting in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. And a lot of this movie was shot there, and it was great because I'm watching this movie and like I know that spot, I know where they are, I know where they're filming that, I know where under the bridge, I know where that is. So many scenes in this movie that I knew exactly where they were. A lot of it was also shot in a little town called Birdsboro, which is like right outside Pottstown. I recognize a lot of places in there. And there was another area, it's another town called Doylestown, which is actually about like maybe like half hour, a little bit more away. I didn't recognize so many areas in that. I don't really know the Doylestown area all that well. I know like kind of the main street area, and that's about it. But a lot of it was shot there as well. So all this whole entire movie shot in the area. And I'm like, how did I not know this movie existed? Especially since Daniel Harris is in this movie. And I'm like, wait, you mean to tell me back in, what was this, 2010. 2010, Daniel Harris was here, and I didn't know that? kind of bummed about that. Would have liked to have met her. And made out with her. Don't tell Miss Sickness I said that. So anyway, Stakeland. yeah. Good movie. I did enjoy it. It's an interesting zombie movie. Well, I guess technically you could look at vampires as being zombies. Anyway, interesting zombie movie. I did enjoy it. Some people have said they thought it was a little boring. It is somewhat slow, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it was an interesting take. And all in all, I thought for, more of a like, kind of an independent film, it was definitely a well-done zombie movie. I'd recommend it, but maybe I'm a little biased because the whole thing was shots like in the area, which I just thought was so cool. And I had a lot of fun picking out the spots while watching it. But Stakeland, see it. It was decent. All right. Then I had to check this out because, well, Paul Giamatti. We watched Rock of Ages, finally. Not Footloose. I haven't seen the remake yet. Although I hear it's good. You guys leave a comment below. Is the Footloose remake good? I heard it was. I don't know. We'll see. I like the first one. But Rock of Ages, finally had to check it out. And actually pretty decent. It's a musical, so you're going to have many people singing songs. But of course, they're all renditions of, popular rock songs and whatnot. It almost feels like you're watching like an episode of Glee, kind of. I mean, this movie was definitely definitely a movie I think got made because of shows like Glee. Had Glee not become super popular, Rock of Ages I don't think would have ever have been made, but it definitely feels like that. But it's a great story. I really like where they go with it. So well done. Lots of fun cameos by like rock stars. While you're watching a movie, look at crowds and stuff. You're gonna pick out lots of cool cameos from rock stars. It's pretty awesome. I love doing that. But all in all, a decent story. I really enjoyed it. Great story just about the spirit of rock and roll. So I'd recommend it. Obviously, it all takes place like in the 80s and whatnot, and it's a fun movie. I love when one of our lead characters becomes, he gets involved in a boy band because of Paul Giamatti, which is very fun. He goes from a rock star to being in a boy band. That's hilarious. Absolutely love that. And they like spot on nail the boy band. It's great. I mean, it's like you're watching like Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, or not Boys to Men, sorry, New Kids on the Block. I mean, you're watching like one of those bands. It is spot on. So I actually really enjoyed Rock of Ages, more so than I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to be like, it was okay, but in the end, I thought it was pretty well done, a lot better than I was expecting, and I definitely enjoyed it. So Rock of Ages, check it out. All right, next two movies I checked out. I can't physically hold up and show you as I watched my digital copies of it that was sent to me by you guys. Thank you so much. First one I watched was While We're Young. Definitely a good movie. It's interesting to watch these two older characters kind of be friends, these two younger characters. It's really a movie all about kind of age. But of course, watching this younger couple kind of set this older couple up and screw them over, but done in a very interesting way. It's not necessarily a straight up comedy. It's not a straight up drama. It's a little bit of both, but just very interestingly done. I mean, I've seen a lot of movies where, somebody sets somebody up and kind of screws them, but they all kind of flow the same way. This one felt a little bit different. Definitely had a bit of a different flow, kind of a movie I hadn't really, a plot I've seen before, but done in a different way that I kind of hadn't seen before. So very interesting movie, very enjoyable. Ben Stiller was great in it. I don't have too much to say about the film, but it was very well done. Definitely worth checking out. I don't know why. I just don't have much to say about the movie, but it was good. I see it. Okay, we're gonna move on. And then I watched This Is Where I Leave You. This movie I really enjoyed. The character Jason Bateman, his character. I mean, it's all revolved around his character. And his wife, cheats on him, and his dad passed away, so he's got to go back home. And it's one of those movies where it's kind of, you're stuck with your family and all the crazy wackiness that ensues your family. I mean, we see many movies like that where, maybe it takes place around the holidays or something like that. I mean, we've certainly seen movies where people have to spend time with their family, and just how, the crap hits the fan, and they don't really get along, and they're just arguing, and craziness is ensuing. It's one of those movies, and things keep building up and getting worse and worse and worse until the end, where everything kind of works out for the best, and everybody sort of finds themselves. So, it's certainly a story I've seen before. I wouldn't say this movie was unique, but regardless, it was very well done. Great movie. Definitely worth checking out. I loved all the characters in it. I loved watching, I gotta say, even though it's a movie I've seen before, a lot of the characters, like some of them were doing things that like I hadn't seen before. I like the sister who's in love with the kid next door, who she was like madly in love with, until they had gotten to an accident, and he's left like with this like brain injury where he's still kind of normal, but he forgets things very easily. And he's like aware of it, which I thought was really cool. They didn't play him up as just being like, okay, he got hurt. Now he's like, a complete like moron or something now. No, he's still there, but all of a sudden, I guess he kind of like spaces out, and he just forgets why he's doing stuff, or like where he is, or like what's going on. And because of that, she like left him, and she regrets it because she's still madly in love with him, even though she's married and has kids now. That was really interesting. Of course, Jason Bateman and his wife cheating on him with his boss, which is pretty messed up. I like how he goes back to his hometown, but he ends up kind of falling in love with an old girl who I don't think he ever like really dated her, but a girl who used to like him, and now they're kind of gonna like try to work things out. But it's kind of a messy situation because he's not 100% divorced yet, and his wife is pregnant with his kid now. He just finds out, and it's sort of a messy thing, but you find out he always tried to play it safe in his life, and now things are getting kind of complicated, and he wants to try complicated. So anyway, interesting movie. I would definitely recommend checking it out. Very well done. So while we're young, and This Is Where I Leave You, both great, kind of like sort of independent kind of films. Definitely both worth seeing. All right, and then we'll finish up here with Milton Hershey, The Chocolate King, the biography documentary. This was great as somebody who lives about 45 minutes away from Hershey, Pennsylvania, and who has spent his entire life going to Hershey, Pennsylvania ever since I was a little kid. My parents have always taken me to Hershey Park. I have fantastic memories of it, and every year I go out there, and I'm always hitting up Hershey, Pennsylvania. Even if I'm not going to the park, I like to just drive out there and do the Chocolate World Tour and get some chocolate and just have a good time going out there with the family. And this was a great watch, and I actually did learn a lot about Milton Hershey that I didn't know. I thought I knew everything there was to know about him. I've been to his museum. He's got a whole museum out there. I've been to that. I've heard about him. You know, I know the story of Milton Hershey since I live right outside. Well, again, 45 minutes outside Hershey, Pennsylvania, but still close enough that I've certainly heard many stories about him. But there was actually a lot about him that I was not aware of, and pretty cool dude. I actually really enjoyed this, and I respect the guy so much more. I love how when he started to get money, he started to like become a bit of a little snobby, sort of. I mean, he buying things and dressing all kind of rich and fancy until apparently one day he looked at himself in the mirror and was like, this has got to stop. I'm ridiculous. Yeah, I got to be more normal. And I thought that was pretty cool. I love how he treated his, workers and the way he really respected people. I mean, creating a whole school just for orphans. When he built his plant, he built a whole town. He didn't just build a plant and a chocolate plant. And he's like, okay, there we go. You find your way here. He built a whole town for his workers to live in. He built a park for his workers. I mean, that's what Hershey Park came to be. Churches for them and schools for them and all. He built a place for his workers to live, and he lived there with them. He had a house that overlooked his plant. And he lived right there. So it wasn't like he commuted in or lived far away in some big grand house. He had that's the cool thing about his house. It was, it's nice looking. I've driven past it many times. I've never been in there, but I've driven past it. It's a nice looking house, but it's not huge. For its time, it was kind of big, but it's not a huge, giant, grand mansion like a lot of billionaires, millionaire, okay, probably wasn't billion, but millionaires had back then. They had a ton of money. They built these huge grand mansions. He just built a big house, a decent house, apparently furnished it with all just store-bought furniture. So pretty cool, laid-back guy, very nice, loved people, loved his workers, and wanted to just help out the community and do great things. They were saying stories about him, watching, steam shovels digging stuff up, and people saying that steam shovel could do the work of 40 men, and him getting rid of the steam shovel and hiring 40 men during the Depression to work instead of having a steam shovel do it. He was like, well, if I can put 40 people to work, I'm gonna put 40 people to work. I don't care if they're all just shoveling a hole. It's still work for them. I can pay these people. I can give them something to do. They're hurting. They need the money. I can give them this job. Why have one machine do it when I can have 40 men do it? Which sounds backwards. Nowadays, people are like, well, why pay 40 men when I can have one machine? That's the way most people would think. Not Milton Hershey. He thought, let's give these 40 people a job. I thought that was pretty cool. So very awesome guy. Really enjoyed this documentary. Get to learn things about him that I was not aware of. I mean, I'd say 75% of this was all stuff I already knew, but it's always fun learning, even if only 25%, learning stuff about somebody you didn't know before. So great documentary. If you have any interest in Hershey, Milton Hershey whatsoever, definitely worth checking out. But all biography documentaries are worth checking out. They're always very well done and great watches. So, all right, guys, there you go. That is it. Wow, look at that. Only a half hour into this video. That's pretty good for me. I do try to blow through these reviews as quickly as possible, and I'd say a half hour, pretty good for me. So, all right, guys, there you go. So, like I always say, thank you guys so much for checking this video out simply just by watching this video and showing your support by watching this video means the world to me. I really do appreciate it. Of course, you can also show your support by simply liking this video, by clicking that thumbs up tab down below. It takes 2 seconds. It means the world to me and really helps these videos out. I would definitely appreciate it. You can also subscribe. I do a brand new daily sickness video every single day. Reviews, collection updates, unboxing, cinema hunting videos. Looks into my collection, looks into my sickness for cinema on a daily basis. I've been doing that for over 4 years now. No plans on stopping, so hit that subscribe button. You'll see at least one new video from me every single day, but I do sprinkle in bonus videos all the time for you guys as extra added enjoyment. If you're watching us on YouTube, there's a bunch of links down below to things like my Patreon account where you can pledge a monthly donation to help support this show. There is my Spreadshirt account where you can purchase yourself a Cinema Sickness hat, a Cinema Sickness t-shirt. This is one of 16 designs you can choose from. There's hoodies, there's tank tops, there's buttons, there's baby gear, there's kids gear, all kinds of Cinema Sickness merch to pick up if you're looking to get some of that. There's usuals, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can follow me on all those websites, and also Listia and eBay. If you're on Listia and you're on eBay, you can check out everything I have for auction on those sites and follow me on those sites. If you're not on YouTube and you're at cinemasickness.com watching this video, as you should be, All those same exact links are right up above you, right underneath the CinemaStick logo. You see a bunch of icons. Click on those icons, will take you to the same exact website. And again, if you are at YouTube and you're not at CinemaStickThis.com, there's also a link down below to CinemaStickThis.com. So click on it, head over there, check it out. I post these videos there, but I post so much more as well. All kinds of stuff for you to check out over at CinemaStickThis.com, including these videos, but also much, much more. My entire collection's listed there, what I'm watching, FAQ page, all kinds of other stuff I post. Definitely check it out. And while you're there, definitely check out Team Sickness. So click on the Team Sickness tab over at CinemaStickThis.com. If you like my videos, you're going to like their videos. Check out all the great collection updates and reviews and whatnot from those guys and gals. They would definitely appreciate the support. All right, there you go. So that is it, guys. Again, I hope you're having a fantastic Saturday. Hope you're having a good one. I'll see you all tomorrow on Sunday. See you then, guys. Bye.